Здравейте, уважаеми зрители! Вие сте с предаването конкретно, YouTube каналът е на Поглед.инфо. Аз съм Георги Стамболиев. Уважаеми зрители, за мен е голямо удоволствие отново да ни гостува доктор Пол Крейг Робъртс, с който ще говорим по важните теми, не толкова европейските, колкото световните. Както казахме миналия път, доктор Пол Крейг Робъртс е бивш заместник министър по икономиката по времето на администрацията на президента Рейгън. Той сега е с нас. Имаме няколко въпроса. Ще започнем с икономическите, ще минем през политическите и разбира се социалните. Mr. Roberts, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock over there.
Yes.
I'm starting right away with the questions because we have only two parts, 20 minutes each. And the first question will be about the actions that Trump took over the last 1 and 2 months regarding the tariffs. Today we have tariffs, on the next day he is canceling them or postponing them. Is this some kind of political logic behind this, or we are speaking about gambling, political gambling and economic gambling? Over the last few days, a lot of analysts here in Bulgaria are speaking that it's some kind of playing cards, like he spoke with Zelensky. Is this a game right now, or it's a serious politic?
Well, he's playing cards. The tariffs are a negotiating strategy. He threatens countries with imposing tariffs against their exports to the United States unless they make some concessions that he wants concerning their tariffs against American products. So it's a negotiating tool to get concessions. It's not an effort to impose a permanent system of tariffs. So far, according to reports, 75 countries have agreed with Trump to reach an accommodation. So he has paused the tariffs based on their willingness to adjust their own policies. So there really isn't a tariff regime. In fact, many of the tariffs that Trump was threatening had many exemptions. For example, anything necessary for American producers was exempted from the tariffs. So it really only applied to imported consumer goods. And of course, it was simply a threat. Now, the policy seems to have worked, but not against China. And the reason, in my opinion, is that Trump approached China in the wrong way. You can't threaten, not even the United States can threaten such a powerful economic and military power as China. And so when he goes and threatens China, that is the wrong way to open the negotiations with a powerful country. And the Chinese resented it. In fact, they referred to the United States as a country of peasants. Well, that was the wrong way to start a negotiation, and Trump made a mistake. So I don't know what will come of this conflict that was caused by the Trump administration's mistaken judgment.
I see. But there is a different reading here about the situation, these economic moves, because we know the people that have lost a lot of money, like Bezos, like Musk, but there are a lot of people who bought obligations during the crisis, the lower moments during the tariff war, and right now they have gained a lot of funds, a lot of money. Can we say that this is pure luck, intuition, or we can say that it was economic thief?
No, I don't think it was structured in order for people to take advantage. In fact, quite the opposite. The Western media, especially the American media, intentionally misrepresented Trump's policy in order to scare people that there would be higher inflation because the tariffs would add to the prices of products. And to scare people, it would lead also to recession and unemployment. It was an effort to undermine Trump with the voters who put him in office by telling them or causing them to believe or be fearful that Trump's tariff policy would do them economic harm. And we saw Wall Street play this game. Wall Street, which is really not on Trump's side, is basically a Jewish institution. Wall Street started saying, oh, he's also destroying the dollar. The dollar will collapse, it'll be replaced by some other currency, and so on. So it was quickly, the Trump tariff was quickly turned into something that it wasn't. It was simply a negotiating tool that largely worked. But you have to understand the American establishment is very much opposed to Trump. And it's not just the Democrat Party and the universities and the media. It's also much of the Republican Party. The Republican Party is part of the establishment too, and it likes the way things operate. They're comfortable. And Trump has declared war on the American establishment. He says it's ruining the country for its own gain, and he's going to bring that to a halt. So there is an existential conflict between the Trump administration and the American establishment. And of course, the media is accountable to the American establishment. It's largely Jewish owned or controlled. And so it aids the establishment in its war on Trump. But I don't think it's succeeding because, as I say, 75 countries have come to terms. And the real problem is China, and that is due, to repeat myself, to the inappropriate way that Trump approached China.
But still, there is time to fix this inappropriate way that he have moved. Speaking about United States and this war, existential war that you have mentioned, what exactly is the situation of the ordinary, the normal people right now, the nation? Since Trump declared a lot of things that are going to be good, better, and even the best in the United States history, right now, are those things happening step by step? Is something changing in the good way? Because previous time when we spoke with you, you told me that the economic right now, the American industry, is not in a very good shape, if I can say like this.
Yes, the American economy was deserted by its own large corporations. The trouble with the American economy is the direct consequence of Wall Street forcing the American corporations to locate their production for American markets offshore in Asia and Mexico. And Wall Street did that because it said your labor cost and your environmental compliance cost will fall by a tremendous amount, and the profits of the corporations will rise. And so will the stock price, and so we here on Wall Street will get richer than ever. So the American firms for the last 30 years have been basically required to move offshore in order to avoid being taken over by Wall Street. Wall Street told the corporations, you move to China and take advantage of the lower costs to increase profits, or we will finance takeovers of your corporation and we will move it offshore. So what the corporations did to America by moving their manufacturing jobs offshore is they devastated the middle class. The manufacturing jobs were middle-class jobs. They were ladders of upward mobility. And these jobs have been lost. And consequently, it has hurt the incomes and the success, the careers of millions of Americans. It has seriously harmed the tax base of manufacturing cities and states, of the former manufacturing cities and states. They lost their tax base. They lost both from the corporations moving and from the loss of the citizens of good jobs. So they now have trouble maintaining their municipal bond credibility. They can't maintain the infrastructure. They have difficulty paying the accumulated pensions due. So it's been a horrific problem. The large, once powerful American manufacturing cities have lost tremendous population. In my book, The Failure of Laissez-faire Capitalism, I documented these population losses. They reached as much as 20% of the city's populations. So this is why the American economy is in trouble.
Yes.
And so what Trump, I think, is trying to do is to bring the jobs back. I don't think he's going about it in the right way, but he does have the right purpose. And I think he thinks tariffs can bring the jobs back. He thinks that the tariff system allows other countries to sell here, but then they block our ability to sell there. And so that's his approach. But of course, the real problem is that Wall Street and the corporations moved manufacturing offshore. And now they're faced with their profits depending on the lower cost abroad. So that's the problem. And I don't know if Trump's tariffs adequately address the real problem.
I see. You know, when you're explaining all the problems, all the consequences based on financial profits, it is reminding me of Europe. I believe that the same things are happening here. The industry and the infrastructure are dying. I mean, the industry is no longer existing. The infrastructure right now is falling apart all over Europe, especially in Bulgaria and the countries that are in the end part of Europe. But the bigger problem is right now that we don't see the opportunity to bring the industry back. Even if we bring it back, there are not a lot of people that are ready with the know-how and the knowledge how to work like before.
Well, I didn't realize that Europe was that close to America's problem. It's true, not having moved manufacturing out of America for 30 years, we have lost a skilled and disciplined manufacturing workforce. my impression, and it may be incorrect, is that the trouble began in Europe with the American sanctions on Russia because it disrupted profitable business relationships between Europe and Russia. It stopped them cold. It drove up the prices of energy for European manufacturers. And so I thought that what was occurring in Europe, which is similar to what happened in America, was newer and hadn't gone so deep. I do know the German automobile manufacturers are thinking about relocating their production in the markets that buy most of their cars, such as the United States. This, of course, deprives Germany of one of its most powerful industries. So if this is indeed what's happening in Europe, then they're being ruined also.
Factories are closing here in Europe, I mean, not in Bulgaria. In Bulgaria, they have been closed over the last 30 years. So, we already forgot what exactly is heavy industry, what exactly is to make something from resources and to make something that is important for the world, to sell it and to gain profits. But speaking about Europe and Russia, right now we are speaking only on the economic level. The next part we will speak about the text you have wrote, but I see that obviously not only me but a lot of people are watching that right now. The economy that is doing fine, doing okay during this all problems in the world economy is the Russian ruble. And the Russian economy, no matter that they have received a lot of sanctions over the last 3 years, is this a normal economic behavior, logical economic behavior right now?
You see, the sanctions helped Russia. The West had set Russia up as an exporter of raw materials for the West and to be dependent on imports of manufactured goods from the United States. So Russia was being held into a subservient place as a supplier to the West of raw materials, and was being prevented by this policy imposed on Russia from developing itself internally as a powerful manufacturing country. But what the sanctions did, it forced the Russians into self-development. And so it has been a great help to the internal development of the Russian economy and to its becoming more self-sufficient, so that it's isolated now largely from Western economic pressures. So this is a normal response. If you cut a country off with sanctions, what's it going to do? If it's properly led, it will then develop internally. And so this internal development of Russia is the direct consequence of the American sanctions, which backfired in terms of hurting Russia, but did great harm to Europe, especially to Germany. So the American sanctions on Germany, they actually fell on Europe.
It sounds absolutely logical. I can't believe that so many world leaders, even in America and in Europe also, didn't saw that this is coming, that this will happen. I mean, I'm not understanding it. Perhaps there is a reason why. That was the first part. We have a few minutes break and after this we will continue on the second part. Уважаеми зрители, ще се видим след малко.